December 21st, 1945. Tokyo. The world of military leadership shifted in an instant. General Douglas MacArthur, Supreme Commander of Allied forces in the Pacific, received a telegram that would travel thousands of miles yet strike as sharply as a bullet. The message was brief but devastating. General George S. Patton Jr. was dead. The news came as a shock. Though Patton had been in critical condition following a car accident in Germany 12 days earlier. At just 60 years old, the storied commander who had stormed through North Africa, led the Sicilian campaign, and charged across France and Germany, had succumbed not to enemy fire but to injuries from what seemed a minor accident on a quiet country road. The irony was bitter. Patton had survived 2 world wars, countless battles, and some of the most dangerous operations in modern military history, only to have life cut short in such an ordinary way. For MacArthur, the news was more than a telegram. It was a reminder of the fragility of even the strongest men, a signal that the legends of war were mortal. Sitting quietly in his Tokyo headquarters, he read the brief, formalities digesting its implications, though the 2 generals had never served together on the same front. Patton in Europe, MacArthur in the Pacific, their reputations often mirrored each other in intensity and controversy. Both were bold, sometimes reckless, and deeply aware of their public images. Patton with his flamboyant speeches, polished boots, and relentless drive to push forward. MacArthur with his iconic corncob pipe, distinct uniform, and the carefully curated persona of a warrior statesman. Each had been a lightning rod for admiration and criticism alike, embodying the duality of genius and volatility in military command. MacArthur quickly began drafting an official statement in formal, measured language. A called Patton one of the most brilliant soldiers America has produced, and a great captain who will take his place in history. These words, released 2 newspapers and radio across the globe, highlighted Patton's tactical genius, leadership, and contributions to the Allied victory. Yet behind the polished lines, meant for public consumption, MacArthur's private thoughts, recorded by aides and staff officers, revealed a more nuanced view. He reportedly said that Patton was a warrior born for combat, and that he struggled in peacetime, suggesting a recognition that Patton's skills, temperament, and personality thrived under the pressure and chaos of battle, but could clash with diplomacy, administration, and the delicate politics of peacetime military service. The story of Patton's final days was both tragic and dramatic. On December 9th, 1945, while traveling in a staff car near Mannheim, Germany, Patton's vehicle collided with a truck. Though he survived the initial crash, the general suffered a severe spinal cord injury that left him paralyzed from the neck down. He was rushed to a hospital in Heidelberg, where doctors fought tirelessly to save him. Despite the best medical care of the time, complications arose, and on December 21st, he succumbed to his injuries. For many in the military and the public, it seemed almost unbelievable that such a vibrant, formidable figure, someone who had seemed indestructible on the battlefield, could be felled by a mere accident. Patton's death sparked an outpouring of grief and respect across the United States and Europe. Newspapers, including the New York Times and Stars and Stripes, carried extensive coverage of his passing, chronicling his military campaigns, his personality, and the unique energy he brought to command. Tributes flowed from fellow officers, political leaders, and ordinary soldiers who had served under him. President Harry Truman, General Dwight Eisenhower, and General George Marshall all issued statements honoring Patton's legacy, each emphasizing his boldness, tactical brilliance, and contributions to the Allied victory in Europe. MacArthur's reflections, though, added an interesting layer to the public narrative. Biographers and contemporaries, including Sidney Huff, who served as MacArthur's aide, and historians such as William Manchester and Carlo, documented that MacArthur recognized both the genius and the contradictions within Patton's character. He admired Patton's courage, decisiveness, and ability to inspire troops. Yet he understood that the same intensity that made Patton a battlefield icon made him unpredictable and sometimes a challenge in less urgent circumstances. MacArthur reportedly noted that Patton's larger-than-life persona could overshadow the military machinery around him, a reminder that history often remembers personalities as much as victories. The funeral, held on December 24th, 1945, in Luxembourg, was a solemn affair attended by military leaders, dignitaries, and soldiers whose lives Patton had touched. Official records describe the procession, the speeches, and the honors bestowed upon the general, marking the end of a chapter in American military history. Yet even in death, Patton's legend continued to influence how military leaders, including MacArthur, viewed the balance of boldness and caution, leadership and spectacle in the life of a soldier. In retrospect, the responses to Patton's death from MacArthur as official words to his private reflections highlight the complexity of military leadership and camaraderie. They show that even among great commanders, respect is nuanced, combining admiration for skill with recognition of human limitations. MacArthur's tribute was not just an acknowledgement of Patton's accomplishments, but also an insight into the qualities that define a warrior: courage, decisiveness, and an almost obsessive drive that can be both brilliant and perilous. Patton's death was a reminder to MacArthur and the world that even heroes are mortal, and that the legacy of a soldier is not measured solely by survival, but by the audacity, skill, and spirit with which he fought. It was a moment that underscored the humanity behind the legend, the quiet weight of leadership, and the respect shared between warriors who, while never serving side by side, understood the demands and burdens of command. MacArthur's words, both public and private, preserved in military archives and memoirs, continue to offer a window into how one legendary general viewed another, testament to the enduring complexity and admiration that define history as greatest soldiers.